perfectly normal petting zoo.
Everybody went inside the zoo to explore all the different animals. There were flamingos and lions and tigers and bears and other kinds of bears and more flamingos and a weird pigeon that lived in some place. And off to the side of the stage, Sarah, the zookeeper, said,
Good morning.
and everybody gathered over to that exhibit. And they faced out to the audience, and everyone said, good morning.
Good morning. Behold, perfectly normal tiger. You'll notice that each tiger is exactly the same number of stripes. Is that normal?
Everyone said, wow.
Wow.
Sarah raised a hand and said,
Me too, you just like this.
everyone faced out and said, exactly how I imagined.
Exactly how I imagined.
Linnea stood up. She wasn't so sure about this. She said, are you sure tigers are supposed to act like that?
Are you sure that was supposed to act like that?
She said, it's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird. Weird? Nonsense. Look over there.
And everyone looked there. And Nora, the zookeeper, on the other side of the zoo, nowhere near the perfectly normal tigers, said,
Step right up. We have a wonderful variety here for you today. Perfectly normal lizards.
everyone said, whoa!
Wow.
Elliot raised a hand and said,
Can I take her home? I wouldn't recommend it. And the perfectly normal lion.
everyone faced out and said, amazing!
Amazing.
Bennett raised a hand and said, is it normal
Is it normal
for lions and lizards to hang out together?
for lions and lizards to hang out together? Perfectly normal.
Everyone faced out and said, of course.
Of course.
Jameer, who was not so sure about this, raised a hand and stood up and said,
I know a lot about lions, and I never seen them stare like this. This doesn't sound like weird. Nonsense. Attention, attention. The perfectly normal petting zoo will be closing in 10 minutes.
and everyone looked down and said,
That was fast. Said the Rich and Matrix. That's just enough time to see the gem of the whole perfectly normal petting zoo.
and everyone looked around and said, what is it?
What is it?
And everyone approached a very sinister looking zoo exhibition. And they got down low. And zookeeper Francis said, careful now.
Careful now. Don't be scared. The perfectly normal hippopotamuses. Isn't that hippopotami? Hey now, who's in charge here? Anyway, close your eyes. Imagine a hippopotamus.
And they did.
Ta-da!
Annie said, how commonplace.
How commonplace.
Juniper said, and not at all suspect.
And not at all suspect.
Jameer stood up because he was still really not sure about this. He said, well, wait a minute.
Don't wait a minute. This hippopotamus is all wrong.
Wrong.
Wrong?
Linnea stood up and said, I saw it too.
I saw it too.
That hippo.
That hippo had fangs.
And everyone said, what?
What? I assure you, whatever hippo teeth you saw were perfectly normal hippo teeth.
Jameer pointed to a hippo and said,
Open your mouth.
Bing bong.
The perfectly normal petting zoo will be closing in 5 minutes. I repeat, 5 minutes.
That's convenient. Teacher Coco said,
That's good. Everyone.
and everybody got ready to board the bus back home. Bennett said, what an awesome day.
What an awesome day.
And there were more lines because they didn't exit quite yet. Elliot said, best surprise field trip ever.
Best surprise
around at the zoo, and Jameer said, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" Linnea said, she said, "There's something about this zoo." And they looked at each other and they said, "Let's sneak back in." And they snuck very carefully over to that bench, which was very, very hidden. A little further downstairs. A little further downstairs. Actually, that's really good too. That's a good hiding spot. That's good. I can't see it. Yeah. The zookeeper.
Okay, attention. The perfectly normal petting zoo is now closed. I repeat, the perfectly normal petting zoo is now closed.
Voices from the distance inside the zoo. So Rob said, "Is there anybody around?" Augie said, "Come on, hurry up." Nora said, "We have to check carefully."
We have to check carefully. Is the coast clear?
Everyone said, "Is the coast clear?"
Is the coast clear? Yeah, I think so.
And all the magical creatures came out. They shed their ordinary animal disguises, and there were dragons and magical fairies and all sorts of whimsical magical creatures. And they stretched and they kind of went down because it had been a long day. Samson the dragon said. Juniper the dragon said. "I'll race you around the zoo." Elliot the dragon said. "No one's as fast as me." And Samson said, "Catch me if you can." And the dragon started to fly off and he said, "Wait. And they flew on that platform and just kind of did cool dragon stuff. Look how cool. Ain't that great? Augie said, Billy said, Annabelle said, and then.
And then you get the French fries.
And they started talking about their favorite types of French fries, because who wouldn't? And we could watch this for an hour, but instead, Tattletale Francis said,
Pete, let's look around the chart.
and Camille said,
Please don't start arguing. You always make it too far.
she said, "There's nothing fun to do around here." And Camille said again, "You always take it too far." And Zoe made such a yucky face that Camille started to tattle. She said,
Pete.
and they sat down so upset with one another and refused to speak to each other for a whole minute. Linnea said, "What is going on here?" Jameer said, "I don't know." He said, "But I think we were right." Linnea said, "I didn't think we would be this right." Sarab picked up something he found off the ground. Bennett said,
What's it about, Sister?
Sierra said, "Humans aren't always weird."
Yeah, how's your compassion? Captain Underpants in the attack of the talking toilet.
Sierra said, "Okay." And Jameer stood up and said, "Hey, that's my book." Linnea said, "Get down." And everyone said, and the humans raised their hands and came onto the platform. They said, "Oh no." And Bennett was freaking out. Bennett said, "How did a bunch of humans get in here?"
How did a bunch of humans get in? How many more are there? Are in the walls?
Billy stood up and said,
Don't freak out, don't freak out.
Jennifer looked out and said, "I'm freaking out."
I'm freaking out.
She pointed to the humans and then she said, "What do you want?"
What do you want?
And Zoe said, "I know what to
bring the game.
Augie said, we'll throw it in the volcano. We'll throw it in the volcano. Samson stopped him by saying,
We don't even have a volcano.
Elliot stood up and said, I
I say we turn those intruders into a midnight snack.
he said, who's with me?
Who's with me?
And Pete said,
I don't think you guys want
and everyone said, never mind.
it.
And Elliot was kind of grumpy about that. He said, you always do what she says.
Do you always do what she says?
He tried to get the vibe going again. He said,
Midnight snack. Midnight snack.
Sierra looked at the humans and she said, are you monster hunters? Juniper said, are you dragon collectors?
Are you dragon collectors?
Annabelle said,
Do you have any french
and Linnea looked at all these fearsome monsters and said, I'm Vincent. She said, I'm not a monster hunter. And she pointed to Jameer and said, are you? He said, I'm a zoo stealer.
My name is the Zoo
And Sierra said, zoo stealer? Like a guy who steals zoos?
Like a guy who steals food?
And Lily stood up and said,
This is the worst day of my life.
Juniper said,
Worst day we got trapped here. This is the second worst day of my life.
Linnea looked at the creatures and said, you're trapped here?
You're trapped here?
And everybody sighed. Sierra said, some of us have been here for a long time. It's tragic backstory time. Bennett stood up and said, I used to live in some really awesome enchanted mountains.
I used to live in some awesome enchanted
He said, I have a cave of my very own.
very own.
He said, and tons of friends.
And tons.
Elliot rolled his eyes. He said, and a sports car?
And a sports car. And a Nintendo Switch. And a Okay, it was nice, okay?
Bennett said, I like the thing.
I like it.
Bennett stood up to tell a very tragic tale. He said, but then
But
an evil wizard
then,
snatched me up
snap me up.
and brought me here in the middle of the night.
And brought me here in the middle of the night.
And that's it. And Elliot stood up to share his tragic backstory. He said, I was flying around one night. He said, a fireproof net. He stood up and said, we've been here ever since. Everyone said, yeah. Samson said, that evil wizard.
Just me. I'm an evil wizard. Also a wizard. I can't break the spell in this place.
Annabelle said, nobody can.
Nobody
We can never leave.
can never. And now, neither can you.
Both kids stood up and said, what? Augie said,
That's how the spell works. You attract the dark stuff.
Jameer said, there's got to be a way out of here.
There's gotta be a way out of here.
Elliot said, maybe you're right.
Maybe you're right. I'm running really fast and not wall. Hey, that's not nice.
They're just scared.
They're just scared.
Nova said,
Exactly how they are.
and Sir Rob said, what did you say?
Did you say? I said it's perfectly normal for us kids to be scared.
She said, welcome in, you two.
But anyways, okay.
Sierra said, isn't there something we can do?
Isn't there something we can do?
ready to get? Annie said, so we can feed on people's curiosity. Bennett said, and french fries sometimes. Jameer said, is that? Everyone nodded. Juniper said, nobody would come visit us
Nobody would come visit us,
if we looked like ourselves.
and we looked like ourselves.
Samson said, yeah.
Yeah, people would be mean to us.
Everyone said, people would never accept us.
People never accept us.
Nova said, that's right.
That's right.
And Elliot looked at the humans. He said, look at you two.
Look at you two. You're scared of all of us.
And both kids, Linnea and Jameer, stood up and said, we are not.
We are not.
And everyone jumped and went rush. And Elliot said, see, told you so. And Sarab stood up and said, wait a minute.
Everybody just wait till you went Aurora then. Where's your book?
And he looked around for the book, which he magically found. And said,
Max.
Lily said, do people make fun of you for your name? Augie says, should we
From those people to the volcano?
Sharab said, Max is a really weird name for a dragon.
Max is a weird place for dragon. It's cool.
Zoe said, but Vincent here is still scared, right?
Sit here is so sad, right?
And Linnea said, I actually like spiders a lot.
I actually like bugs a lot. Take that compliment to the left.
And Annie said to Lily, go ahead, you can do it. And Lily, who was very nervous, tiptoed up to the humans, and she said,
Hello, it's nice to meet you. Goodbye. I did it. I talked to you.
and Camille said, you know,
I can't remember who told us that humans would never accept us.
Coco said, it was the first night we were here.
It was the first night we were here.
Nora said, they told us.
They told us that we had to hide who we are.
Annabelle said, but who told us that?
Who told us that?
And everyone thought really hard about it. Until Sarab stood up and said, I remember.
No.
And he pointed and said,
It was you.
everyone said, Pete! And Nova stood up and said, nobody ever accepted me,
Nobody ever accepted me.
human or not.
Human or not. They were just flicking me away. And so, one day when the evil wizard was about to turn the spell off of this place, I just couldn't tell anybody. I didn't want you guys to feel the way I did.
Everyone said, what?
What?
Everyone said, we can leave anytime we want.
We can leave anytime we want!
Augie stood up and said,
Are you sure they've been trying to take over this world this whole entire time?
Camille said, Pete, and she pointed to the humans. Camille asked them, are people really all that? Jameer stood up and said, everyone said, just like Linnea said, and some are really weird. And Juniper wiggled the gate of the zoo, and she said, hey, the gate opened for me. She said, we really can leave. and made themselves this way. Yeah.